Colorado football success is more than just on the field success. If you look right here, you'll see that there's a lot of questions about, the GPA and all of that of the players in college football, especially with the changes in the narrative, right? At the highest level, most college football players, most, not all, but most college football players have aspirations of going pro. But there's a fascinating commercial that floats around about the NCAA athletes, and it says that most collegiate athletes are going to go pro in something outside of sports. So the question is, what are they being prepared for? And if you look at this, this statement here, or this quote about Deion Sanders, there is a lot of conversation about the GPA of his athletes. And I'll move to the next one just to kind of highlight it. It shows Colorado releases collective team GPA, and their GPA was 2.9575, almost a 3.0, right? And that's the second highest in program history, right behind the 3.011 they had during the fall of 2024. And I said all that to say that when you think about success, a lot of times success is rooted in what you're measuring, right? And for most people, as it pertains to sports, we look at success purely through the lens of wins and losses, right? But I think Deion is doing something so much bigger at Colorado by helping the young men develop and become successful in more than just what they do on the field, but also looking at success across the board as it pertains to, life skills and life success. Because again, now GPA does not always directly correlate into worldly success. You'll see a lot of individuals who have very high, GPAs don't always correlate into having very high, salaries or high prominence, in the world of business. But what you can find is that you have more opportunities by performing in multiple areas, right? So having a high GPA might not necessarily guarantee success, but having a higher GPA might open up the door to more opportunities. Case in point, I remember when I was in college, my GPA was not great, right? And I remember around the time of graduation, there were a few opportunities that I wanted to apply for, and I couldn't even qualify due to my lower GPA. Yes, I graduated, but me graduating with a low GPA minimized some of the opportunities that I had access to at the moment. So I think this whole notion of really hyper focusing on academic success as well is going to play out great for some of the athletes that are in the Colorado program. And that's something that I'm going to really give, Coach Prime a shout out on, because again, it's bigger than just football. Remember that commercial. Most collegiate athletes are going to go pro in something outside of sports. That's something to be mindful of. That being said, what is being done to help them prepare for that? And again, I think some of the academic focus is extremely important. Again, money and the fans just want to see you win. But those that care about you want to see you win in life. And I think Coach Prime has enough recognition, because he played at the highest level and he's been in those circles, to realize that the vast majority of his players are not going to play pro football. So they got to be prepared for something else. Football is dope. Football is an opportunity to get an opportunity to go and better yourself. But that's not always going to be the gateway to the success that a lot of the players will ultimately have in life. So, as it pertains to you being the mindset QB of your life, you being the quarterback of your mindset, I want you to start taking an inventory of what it is you have access to and start looking at success through the lens of, what does success actually look like for me? Remember, success sometimes is purely determined by the variables that you measure. So if you're only looking at 2 or 3 variables and you're not finding success there, maybe open it up and look at some other things, because you might be more successful than you think. And you getting a few wins under your belt and achieving some success helps you to generate some momentum, which ultimately helps your mindset. Because once you start rolling, you can kind of keep that confidence going and allow it to spill into other aspects of life. So I see this academic success with Coach Prime and the Colorado football team as something in that particular lane, and hope they keep the momentum going. And I hope you keep the momentum going and as becoming the quarterback of your mindset. Because listen, if you don't quarterback your mindset, there's somebody sitting on the sideline ready to do it for you, and they might not have the right intentions. This is your man, Coach Mike D. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Have an amazing day.